Yeah, you're tuned in right now to another street education where we're here to educate the people on the roads, on the streets, cause this is what it's about. Each one teach one, you with me? From the youngest to the elders, for all generation, because we're one family, you with me? So we're trying to say one order, you with me? Hood to hood, ends to end, city to city. Right about now we're coming from Nottingham, Robin Hood time, where obviously if you know the history of Nottingham and Robin Hood was trying to feed the poor, you with me? Because that's what it's about, you with me? Because the rich are out there robbing from the poor, and right about now we need to stop all those corruption and all the people what are blinded from the truth and can't see what's really going on in this big manipulation, you get me? Because we've been held down as a black family while the other races rise up. So it's time for us to rise up and own our sovereignty and our true essence of our ancestors, what they left behind for us, you, because we've got the baton now. So it's time for you to run with the baton, and you get me, who knows better does better. Yeah, so each one teach one and build up together in love, you with me? Because love conquers all, and we're the conquering lions. And so it's time for you to act like royalty, because you are royalty. You're black and you're beautiful, you with me? And it don't matter where you come from on this planet, you with me, on this mother earth, you with me? We're all from Mother Africa, you with me? That's the motherland. So we as the black children need to start knowing that I'm a king, you're a king. If you're a female, you're a queen out there, you with me? So as royals need to start doing royal things with me and start building back the family tree. So we're in the kingdom spot, yeah, that's in Nottingham, like I said, where we promote the street education. So as we're in the kingdom spot, as lions, and as we shout out to the lionesses, we salute them, yeah. Real kings have to do real things. That's the motto, you know. So respect for coming into the kingdom spot, you know, and salute you as well, because you're a king, man, you know. This is a brother what's come out, reaching out to me, and says he wants to obviously get involved in certain things, because obviously he's heard what we're doing and he likes what we're doing. So as a king and as a real lion, this is what it is. We come together to obviously give you some street education. So brother Theo, if you want to introduce yourself to the people who don't know you, and shout out to anybody, if you want to shout out anybody else at home or here, just let them know a bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, my name is Theo. What it is I'm from Africa. I came to England probably about 10 years ago, but since then it's been back and forth, family wise. I have my family here, I have my family in Africa. Majority of the things we see in England, it's not really what our people or what they're portraying about our people. It's not actually what it is. Our people are more than that. You know, they've disrespected our people in a very negative way, or portrayed them in a negative way, where people are actually having to, now we have to come out. We have to come all the way from Africa to defend our people here and elsewhere. And hopefully, if they're watching this and listening to this, they should know that they are special. But the enemy is out there not to seek peace, but to destroy you. And the more you keep giving it out to the enemy, he's going to keep using you for his negative. And you will always be a tutelage to the system.
Because that's what it is. Like you say, divide and conquer, and that's what they've been doing, dividing the family for so many thousands of years. And obviously they've been conquering us. This is why they've been getting away with all the rape and robbery from the motherland, from Mama Africa. So right about now, we as Mama Africa's children, we have to stand up for truth and righteousness and love, because we have to love one another. No matter where Mama Africa's children have got spread it out over, obviously, by force. You remember, some by choice, because we migrated, because that's what we did, because we traveled the world. You remember, because we're more than them. So we conquered everything first, not when they're saying Christopher Columbus conquered here and there. No, that's all lies. We was the conquerors. You with me? So it's time to claim back and know thyself and know thy worth and what you are worth. So So can you, obviously, like you said, you've been in England for like 10 years then. How do you feel like the experience of being in England, coming from obviously the motherland? What's the difference between like the cultural aspects, what you say?
Oh, the cultural aspect, well, it's a big, I mean, we've got culture dating, what they talk about Adam. Probably maybe we was before Adam. You know, if truth be told.
Yeah, if truth be
But
told.
if truth be told, then we are the essence of life. And the anthropologists would probably agree in the mainstream. They would agree that when the remnants or the fossils that they found, but it was back in Africa. So if truth be said, and that's the truth, then you should know that in Africa you have so much, and you are the beginning of everything.
Because that's when they talk about like you said, the fossil or the find of the black woman.
Absolutely.
What they call Lucy.
Yeah? Lucy. What they call Lucy, but really
that's some Lucifer, like putting some mad thing on it, like a mad spin on it, like.
Yeah, you know
really,
the enemy. The enemy always like to name stuff.
Name it. I forgot to because she got an African Ethiopian name. I know it, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. But the name gonna come up on the screen for you because it's something for you to look up. Because at the end of the day, that goes to show, like he says, we are the true essence. And that was a black woman, what they found, what they've called Lucy. So they're saying that fossil there, that lady there, she was the mothers of all mothers. Right. So they say. So they're even trying to say the origins of life comes out of a black woman.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, if we me moving over to England, well, not moving to England, because if I say I moved here, then that means it's a final thing.
Yeah, you have to stay.
You know, right? And just like I was telling you at the beginning, before the show started, someone made a comment and said, "Why don't you go back to Africa if you're not happy in England about the situation?" And I had to reply with a silver bullet. You know, I call it a silver bullet because it ends all speculation and it ends everything. Well, sometimes it's better to stay close to your enemy and keep your family far away. So I'm here now. I'm here now.
In the flesh.
Anything you plan or anything the enemy plans, I'm the first to let my people back home know. All the evil plans. And not only that, we're planning to take our people, both mentally and physically. Logistically, it's gonna be a heavy task, but we don't expect it to be easy, because at the end of the day, he spent nearly 400 years destroying the minds and souls. This enemy knows that his time is up. He knows his time is up, and he's trying to take as many people to hell as he can. But God knows his people. He knows your heart. He knows naturally you're not acting. This killing that is happening in our communities, they know that's not our people. But every human being on this planet has an aggression.
Yeah.
But what it is with black people, or what it is with us, we're loving people by nature. As you're sat here, if I kept pushing you for no reason and you don't react, then there's something wrong with you. But if you reacted, it's only natural. But reaction should always, absolutely, and your reaction is always the last result of everything after you've gone through the peace process. But the enemy has found a way to put our aggression first before everything. So when you go through your human instincts, if you go through all your human endeavor or the selections, the first thing you come across is the aggression. You use the aggression first than to reason. Okay, with that individual. So that card is the first card you always draw.
Yeah, you're right.
And for 400 years of you being a tool to the system, which I always say a tutelage to the system. They don't want you to. They didn't bring you here for for you to be equal citizen. For you to go to KFC, for you to go to McDonald's, for you to drive a nice fancy car. You came here as a tool. We came here, we were brought here to build
up the country, because that's what we did after slavery. They built up the country.
So that's what we came here to do. That's what they brought us here to do. So today, they're saying to us, get used to it.
Get over it.
Get over it.
Not get used to it, get over it.
Get over it. It's gone and it's dusted. But today they have another enemy at their doorstep. Today they're blowing up places.
Innocent people. Innocent children, elders, etc.
Absolutely. They have another enemy today. It is not our enemy. But the enemy today is blowing up. They picked the wrong fight
with another type of race. But they wouldn't back away. But today they're getting people like us to try and, come on boys and girls, let's all hold hands together and let's fight this enemy. This enemy is hard to destabilize our society ISIS and all these names that you're bringing up. But we know you.
But even to say that, even the name, what they've named it is a disrespect because they're calling it ISIS, where it goes back to accept the mother again.
Yeah.
So now they've turned, obviously, the devil again, like we said, Lucifer, into now we're calling it the mother by ISIS.
By ISIS.
So they're disrespecting us in many ways, but because we don't know thyself, because they laugh at you.
Because that's why they call us boys and girls. Because when you only call somebody boy, girl, when you feel they are lower than you. But you call people of higher, that's why they like status. And that's why in society they have higher state, they're always looking for honorary names. Your honor this, mayor such and such, barrister that,
Lord this,
Lord that. But us, they call us boys and girls. That tells you the degree, and they have the audacity to even come up on air and put this madness and be feeding us. But that's the same thing they told us. They portray us to be evil people, people of no good. The only reason why they started calling us lazy, we're saying we're lazy in society, is because we rebelled against what they were trying to do. Because what they were getting us to be working every day. And then the moment we say we don't want to work anymore, they say you're lazy. It's a common tactics. It even happens at our prospective workplaces. Once you're working and working and working, you're upset about something, and you go, right, I'm not going to work anymore. I'm not working anymore. They first thing they say, he's a lazy individual. That's a small boy tactics.
They just want to use you to build their economy. Like
they just want to use you to build their economy, and once they're done, it's over. It used to be water hose, Alsatian dogs, German shepherds, rifles. But today they're not using the rifles anymore. The rifles are gone because our kids are not scared of dying anymore. They're not scared. I mean, that's a minor to them. They're not afraid anymore. But in order to keep everybody else moving, they took the guns and the German shepherd away from the streets. And they went to work on our brains. And so in society now, if you look at the way they're using the kids now, they put all this madness on TV for our children, our little girls to be watching. But really they don't need that. It's an irrelevant thing to the child. Okay? They're coming up with all these apps that, let your child go, it's alright, let him be himself. What? Let him be himself. He cannot be himself. Even the mother and the father, they try to be themselves, and look at where they are. They are not productive in society.
But they don't know better
because they don't know better than themselves. So how can you tell the child, go on child, be yourself and do all of the things that you, let him express himself. Because you know that a child, if you allow a child an uncultivated mind, he will go wayward. Life for children always have animalistic behavior. You have to tame a child. You have to tame a child. No child grows up knowing 1, 2, 3 ABC. So you have to plant the seeds. So you cannot just go out in society and tell the children, right kids, be yourself. Look at the madness that you're spreading in our schools. I mean, the enemy, if you remember, I did make a comment about be close to your enemy and keep your family far away. Well, the enemy has already used that tactics. He's gone on enemy lines, teaching our kids, even in their ideology has sneaked into our textbooks now.
Into African culture.
Into African culture. So the kids are learning, but in history, in school, we're learning what we call history. We have all these slave masters in our books. Can you believe I got math wrong? I'll probably get an F for not knowing my slave master's date of birth or his name. Why would I want to know your date of birth and your name? My mind has no space to have your name in my head. I prefer you don't even exist. So I don't need your, but my teacher would mark me wrong for not getting his name. But
and that would be breaking your confidence.
and absolutely, and that would be breaking my confidence. And so they've managed to sneak into our textbooks. And so the people over there, though they're not actually doing it fully, but it is there. It's sharing 50-50 with our and Africa has over 3,000 languages. Some of the kids in Africa can only speak 1 or 2. Why is that? They speak English in the schools. Wrong. Wrong. We should have our own ideology, but our leaders in Africa,
yes,
we need to talk to you because you've been bad yourself.
Yeah.
Bowing down to your slave. We're fed up and tired of your madness and your pussyfooting around with this enemy. And you know this enemy has been at us for a very, very long time.
Real talk.
But here you are. You a sellout. They are a sellout, really. And it's time. It's time for you to stop.
That's what's happened. A lot of elders in our African country, because remember it's a continent, it's big, it's got many countries. But our elders and our leaders, which are obviously our uncles and our fathers, they're not acting like our uncles and fathers. They're acting like black devils. They're obviously following the white man.
Absolutely.
And obviously benefiting their pockets. So they're enlightening themselves with the white man, selling out their own family tree, their own youngers, their own countries, where some of them have been holding power for so long, not to make the young minds come in there so the young minds can help develop the countries.
Absolutely.
You with me?
I'm with you. And going back to that educational system, the point you've just brought up, with the way they've set up our educational system, it is not set up by the Africans. It's a curriculum not set up by the Africans. Because if it was set up by the Africans, it would have been in our own dialect, languages. We would have been reading them in our own native tongues. But the enemy, it's as plain as it's as simple. He writes right in school. I got told about in science. I got told about certain viruses that exist around the world. Now, in some of our schools, we couldn't understand what the English word meant for that particular virus at the time. We've not even seen it under a microscope. But I can guarantee you, if you said it in our native dialect, thousands of people in different rural areas would have understood what it meant, and we would act. Today we will have brilliant scientists out there, and we don't need to be coming up here begging them for vaccines.
But brother, we've already got them and they're not getting no promotions.
Brother,
we've got those out there.
We've got them.
We can heal, we can do all
of
we
that.
Are great, we are the top scientists. They robbed our knowledge in the beginning. And like you're saying, they reversed it, and because of the dialect, what they're trying to give it you back in, it's causing confusion. That means now the smart Africans or the smart doctors in Africa, they can't obviously, because they don't know what, like you said, what the vaccine is or whatever, because they're from different parts of Africa, because it's so vast.
Absolutely.
It means different things in different areas. So if they, like you said, if they just said it in the simplest way or form, then they would obviously be able
they would have understood it.
They would have thought, you know what, let me go and get the bush from Ray Tay.
And then they would
and the bush would have
so they have the cure. But it's misinterpretation of the words. So every human being, you must understand that there's a process in your life. There are certain things. So as a grown-up person, I wouldn't go out playing with figurines anymore, because I've gone past that stage. So at that young age, we needed that type of discipline. So once we go past that discipline, it's gone. And up to today, if you go to Africa, the books are still there. The kids are still learning that book. They've not threw them away. But we're coming home soon, and sooner or later, that books will all be burned.
But guess
we don't want to.
And to add to that, what the main book, what messed up everybody, it was the book what was given back, wouldn't you say, as maybe the white Jesus?
Of course.
The white Bible.
Of course.
Because that's what the Africans are relying on the white man again. The enemy relying on the white man.
He is hitting us from all angles. He's not giving us time. It's hitting us from religion. It's hitting us from economically. It's hitting us socially, morally. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And the poor Africans, the Africans are so blessed. I mean, they're so blessed to the extent.
Well, I don't like to say that the Africans are blessed. They are favored. Because we're not blessed. Because when we deal with the words, the wordplay, they want us to think we're blessed. And when we are blessed, they do wordplay. Remember, it's a spell.
Absolutely.
So when it becomes a spell now, and you break down what be less is, can you hear what it is? Be less.
Be less.
So we're being less.
We're being less.
So we was calm and content but being blessed because we thought we're all right.
We're all right. So
God blessed us.
Yeah, that's
but
it.
no,
so we don't actually need to elevate.
Yeah, but God didn't bless us. He favored us.
So let's change it to favor.
Because that's what it was in the beginning.
Stronger.
Yeah.
I think that's stronger.
Because we're more than blessed.
I think that's even stronger. I think that's a stronger word. So I would agree with you on that. I would definitely agree with you on that. So we change it from blessed to being favored. And that's an education. You must learn. As you're given information, you must also be ready to receive one. And that's what it's all about. But
the elders knew that we was favored anyway, because the elders knew that in the scriptures, but they forgot that they was favored and just thought that like you said, blessed, but then they got content thinking that we're okay. The most High got us because we're blessed. No, that's what kind of dumbed our brains and made us think that basically afterlife or whatever's gonna happen is going to be okay. It's all about now, what we do now. Like you said before in the previous one before we started rolling, when the big man asks you, did you defend the truth? Did you stand for truth? A lot of them didn't stand for truth because they thought they was blessed, they was okay.
They did not stand for truth.
If you know that you're favored, you know that you're more than that. You with me? And in order to be more than that, you have to do more and you have to defend the truth, and what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, and a lot of wrongs happen to us as a family.
Right.
You with me?
Absolutely.
So you're right what you're saying.
I mean, we have a job to do as black people. Our people of color, we have a long way to go, and our leaders are not helping the situation. I mean, Africa is all we have left at the minute. Africa is what we have left. You have this enemy who've established themselves throughout the whole of Africa now, the whole of West of Africa, Central Africa, South of Africa. I mean, they've dug their tentacles all around Africa now, and I mean, Africa is all we have. As black people in England, I'm begging all the black people around the world, they need to start waking up and start, and it's not an aggressive thing.
It's about love.
It's about love
and unity.
In unity, we need to start getting together. Our kids especially.
Definitely.
Our kids especially, and because living out here in England, I mean, we got here by mistake. We didn't actually. Not for myself. For myself, I came here, but I'm speaking as black people in general. We didn't come here on the Santa Maria or the luxury ships that they have. We came here in a host of ships. But for a black man to get up today and tell us, oh no, you guys are wrong. Stop moving and doing positive for yourself.
Add to that, we did actually come on those big boats, as well as our ancestors were luxurious people. So as Moors, and as we are obviously kings and queens of this planet, we were the first travellers.
The first travellers.
So as the first travellers, we had these luxury big ships and all these things there. So what they told us about ourselves.
Coming here as slaves.
Yeah, they told us
as slaves.
That's how we
were in hosts of ships. Coming here as slaves, we were in hosts of ships.
What they let us know.
Absolutely. Coming here as slaves, we were lying. We were in hosts of ships
with our piss and shit mixes and our sick, our vomits because of seasickness and all sorts.
And so I mean, my simple word for our black people out there in society is the fact is is hard out
It's
there.
hard, man.
The enemy is actually setting up blockades everywhere we go. So some of these videos that we put out there, I mean, we're not actually sitting down here giving out our battlefield strategy, because I think it would be very silly for a general to sit on camera and tell the enemy our battlefield strategy on how to counter. I think it would be very silly. You would agree?
Yeah, I agree.
That it would have been silly for a general to sit down with the enemy and tell him what he's going to do because most of our leaders, I'm talking our Martin Luther King's, our Malcolm X, the rest and the likes, and the whole Marcus Garvey, you can name, the whole list goes on. One of the mistakes that we did was to sit down on camera and tell them our battlefield strategies. And the enemy, what is he going to do? Because you've already told him. So he's only going to, you just need to give him you don't need to give him all of it, but you just need to give him a little hint. And then he will set up the possibilities of what you're going to do. And then, so for every action you take, he has a plan to counteract that. So he's already built the scenarios. So what we're just saying here, you might not think that is something that certain people have said already, but behind the camera, behind the scenes, there are things going on that you need to, even a leaflet, read the leaflets, come to the organization where our people are, and then when you get the information, then you get it for yourself, so you don't share it with the enemy. But for me to sit here and tell you what our plans are, it would be very wrong of me to share a general. I'm not a general, but I'm using it as a context. In the context, to share battlefield strategy while the enemy is out there watching. So we can share. So as we're speaking on a note that we need to come together in order to get that strategy to go out there. Come together, humble yourself, stop the killing, the knives, the guns. That is what the enemy wants you to do. And the enemy,
each one of your brothers and sisters, and at the end of the day, so you need to know that you can't be killing each other. You can't be killing one another. That's just your own brother and sister.
That's your own brother and sister.
You're making another mother cry and go through obviously pain and heartache, where we all won.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, the Babylon's gonna still be on your case, lock you up to the system. So what happens is we lose a soldier to death, and we lose a soldier to the penitentiary. You with me? So the system's got us one way or another. You with me? While they kick back and laugh and say that's another nigga down. You with me?
You're helping aid the enemy. That's what they're doing. They're helping aid the enemy. The enemy, it used to be a time when he had to do the job himself. It was hard for him. But now you make it easy. They make it easier for the enemy. They don't even need to pay you to do it. You just do it for free. And then once you do it, he will come out and lock you, a whole grown man that goes to the gym. I wouldn't mention names, but there are grown men in our society. I'm talking real men, bigger than myself in our community. That they were supposed to be the pillars of our community.
Listen.
That men, that when people, even when an enemy drives through our town, when he looks at how strong they are, they think twice before coming into our neighborhood. But today, it's easier for the enemy to just drive into the community and then harvest one of our lions.
Because they can't go and do that to the Asian community.
Absolutely.
If you go to the Asian community just down the road and you violate or disrespect one community, you'll see how many brothers come out from all the shops and angles, from all the road down the road, because they're defending their family.
Brother, not to cut you, same thing you just said, I'll just put a few more distant information on that. In Africa, we had men in the house. We had about 8, 10 brothers and sisters in the house. These were strong men.
Warriors
for the police. And I'm not talking ancient time, I'm talking present day. There are men in the house, strong men. Next door neighbor, they're my friends, big boys. Next door neighbor, big boys. I'm talking men. They don't carry knives, they don't carry guns. They put this fist up, he's my friend, I punch him, he punched me back. Tomorrow, guess what? We're brothers again, we're playing. Because I need him to play football the next day.
And that's how it used to be back in the day.
I need him to play basketball with the next day. But once I shoot him down, there's no one to play basketball with, there's no one to love me and defend my community when the enemy with his guns come in. But whilst we were using our fists, we were We didn't know what we were doing, but we knew that we were preparing ourselves for when the enemy decides he wants to ride down our town. And you will see men. So it used to be a time when the police or the authorities were coming into the town. They used to come in dressed up just like us. And they speak to the elder of the family. One of your sons had done something wrong, very bad in the community, and we just want to take him to the police station in a peaceful way.
So basically, they would have to go through the elder,
absolutely,
obviously,
of the house,
yes,
to speak to.
They couldn't just come in the community and just grab up man like the way that Babylon grabbers upon the
rushing down. Yes. But we make it easy for the enemy to do that
because we're not together.
Because we're not together,
and they can't do that to the Asian community. They have to go to the elders and say, "Oh, Ray Ted done this, Kasim or Ali or Ramsey did this," and then they'll usher him in properly.
And guess what? We were happy to go with the police officer to the police station without no violence, without no handcuffs, without nothing. You know why? Because he came with peace. That's why his name is the peace officer. But today you're not a peace officer anymore. You are a violent officer.
Yes.
And so when you come in with violence.
Yes.
You come in with guns. You come in with even now you're armed up, armed to the teeth to take this so-called vigilantes and whatnot down. But we black people make it easy. We make it so easy for this enemy to run into our house. And some of these big men that I talk about, abuse it. On top of that, we make it easy for them. Such a big, whole, strong man in the community. Everybody respects him. He expects his little boys to bow down to him. But yet, the enemy comes into the town and arrests him just like nothing, like he wasn't even there. But hear him batting up all the boys, the little boys in the town,
so you're
making them feel.
So you're going on like you're on this
like
thing,
you're on this thing.
and you're running up your mouth amongst each other, and you got strength and powers for your own brother and sister.
To bully your own brothers.
Yeah, to bully up your own
make
brother
them
and
fear
sister.
you.
Yeah, to make them fear
but
you.
Yet
but
you're
really,
afraid.
when the Babylon come and draw upon you or draw upon you or draw upon you,
nothing.
No, feds and man are getting off. You need to stand up as one
You're
family.
wearing hoodies and all kinds to try and because the enemy is after you. You've now become. There's a game. There's a. I don't know whether it's a game in England where they chase foxes. They sit on horses and greyhounds. They still got that thing going on.
Posh sport.
Absolutely. Now for every black man out there, for every black woman out there, whenever the police is after you, I want you to put that thought in your head because you've been hunted down just like that game.
You yourself being the greyhound.
You become the fox that the greyhounds are coming after. And the man who sits on the high horse tells the one who sits on the high horse tells the greyhounds, which are similar to the police, to go get you. So you're the fox. You are a game now. And when they come to arrest you, you are in your boxes. Such an embarrassing sight. And absolutely, and our youth had to see you handcuffed, a whole giant handcuffed.
Yeah, they could disrespect you
and they disrespect you. Absolutely, but it doesn't just end with them. It ends with the thousands of kids black kids that look at you in the newspaper, and you've been handcuffed. And you say you're going to jail and then you're going to come back. I said, you've learned a lot. No, from the point when they captured you, you're done for. You are a captive. Not fighting for your people, but for your self-gain and your madness. This is how we should talk to our black people. Enough with that talk about, the enemy is always, I'm always saying, if you have a headache, are you going to take a tablet to cure it? You will. But the headache is always gonna come. The headache will do what it has to do. But you need to take the right tablets and the right medication to cure that sickness. But sickness is always gonna be around.
But I didn't even deal with the tablets.
No, as a metaphor.
But we need to take the right herbs.
Take the right herbs. So if you take the right herbs, then you're healed. But as long as you're not taking the herbs, the right herbs, then the headache will persist. So until you take it, so the enemy will always do what the enemy want to do. The point is, what are you going to do when the enemy is doing what he's going to do? Are you going to roll around? Are you gonna lay down and let them trample over you like they do? They're bashing down doors every minute. Mothers are panicking, children are panicking.
Yeah, running up in people's houses.
Running up in people's. Sometimes they even tell you we're in the wrong house, we're sorry.
Yeah, and then nothing becomes nothing like that.
And nothing becomes nothing.
Yeah, it's violating.
But we in our society make it easy for them to come in with their guns and do what they do to us.
Because we do nothing.
Because we disrespect our women, we disrespect our children, we disrespect our grandfathers, calling our grandfathers by their first name.
We disrespect ourselves. That's what we're dealing with. Even though we're disrespecting all them, it starts from yourself. You're disrespecting and violating yourself.
And the enemy puts you on TV, puts you on a film, give you deals to call your women bitches and call your women hoe. These are queens and you're calling them hoes and you're calling them bitches. I'm sorry I have to use this word on your channel.
See here, we're here to.
But I'm so upset.
No, you have to be upset because that's your ancestors being alive on that fire because they've gone through so much. It's only right for you to be upset because it's personal to us. Because it's not like it's like they said, forget about it already. We cannot forget. We can forgive because, like you said, we deal with love. But one person needs to know what they're doing and what they've done and acknowledge what they do.
They have to acknowledge.
They have to acknowledge truth because we're not lying. But what they do is tarnish us of negativity. And we obviously allow them to tarnish us of negativity. So we need to obviously, like it says, express yourself in truth. So
give us deals.
You hear me? Say what you need to say,
us
brother.
Deals.
Keep it real around
You're giving us deals to what? Call our women names, filthy names, hoes that it doesn't even and then our sisters.
But then we call ourselves dogs anyway.
And niggas.
So more for us.
And names and the more you keep giving yourself this title, the enemy. But why isn't the enemy giving you money and funding to help your people? There's something wrong with this picture. But for you to go out to the studio, for you to go out to the cinema or to the movie set and play the baddest, the most filthiest police officer. I'm not going to mention some of the Hollywood stars' names, but they take home with a piece of metal. So the young child looks at movies like this and he really puts real metal into his own brother. While you go home with your family, first of all, I'd like to thank God for this trophy. But let's look at the movie that you put out there. And our kids have to watch your madness. And then but you say, oh well, don't let your children watch it anyway. No, I cannot supervise my children every day. I have work to go to. So you don't need to do movies like that. You need to be a man and stand up and say, well, I ain't playing that role. Because this is negativity, menace of society. Coming up with foolish boys in the hood, names that doesn't fit our profile. But then we're loving people.
Because like you were talking about earlier on, the psychology was being
the psychology,
because that was very vital what you were talking about earlier. We get programmed to be those boys in the hood, those menace to society. You admit?
Yes.
So that is all what's been fed to us. But like you says, we need to start taking control and stand up.
We're here to rescue our people mentally and physically. We're here spiritually. We're here to mentor our people. Let our people know that they have richness back home.
We're breaking the spells.
And it only starts with a fraction, and then it will turn into something very, very big. So the enemy knows that his time is up. But like I said earlier on, he's trying to take as many people with him to hell as much as he can.
Because that's what it's
that's what it's absolutely.
And that's why you can't get caught up in this physical.
You cannot get caught up.
I think that I'm better than that person. I'm from Jamaica. I'm not an African.
Yes.
Or I'm an African and they're Jamaican.
I don't even know
vice versa or whatever. Or that person, you've got black people everywhere.
Did you know when I was in Africa, I never actually knew a country called Jamaica. When I was in Africa. No, on my life, I never heard of Jamaica. I only heard of Jamaica in England. Because it's not relevant to my life. How can you compare an island to a continent. My God, if you start thinking island, then that's what you are.
You're not an island.
You're not an island.
Bigger than
you
that.
cannot. Whenever I watch them on TV, whenever I see black, I just see black people. I even thought they're next door neighbors' children. Even though they're speaking in different tone, I thought they were next door country, so-called country.
Yeah.
But I never actually knew that they were so-called Jamaicans and Trinidad and I just seen black people, absolutely. But when I got here, the enemy made me understood that him there, no, that's not your brother. He's a Jamaican. Him there, that's not your sister. That's from Trinidad. That there, he's from St. Vincent, from St. Kitts, and the rest of them. They are not your people.
Divide and conquer.
Divide. So. But then I keep going to my people every time. You can't stop me from loving my people. You cannot. I will die on that one too. Just to make you clear on that one. We will die on that. Like I already told you, it's a minor.
Our ancestors did, but they didn't even die. We will live on.
We will live on. But I think my people want me more alive than dead. And I'll be good to my people. So I will try my possible best. My possible best. And everything. But the Christians, go back to the Christians again. For every Christian out there that is watching this as well, I want you to understand, you have to save yourself first. You have to save yourself. Don't be looking up in the sky, wishing for things that are not going to manifest. It's never going to manifest. He make you look up where really you should be looking down here.
At self.
At self.
Everything starts with
the
self.
Church is inside you.
Yeah, the God's within you.
The church is inside you. He told you this. The church is inside you. I don't know why you want to go into a building
and not do nothing.
The Solomon Temple is all been crumbled today. It was built so magnificently, but today we're finding remnants of them. The church couldn't stand. It built it so magnificent. I mean, and we're talking real good masonry, not this sandcastle that we got spread around called the Twin Towers.
Where the master built.
Those are sandcastles. We're talking buildings made out of proper limestone.
Yes, sir.
But today, we're in these token houses, token cars, token food, token streets, token lights. Token, everything is token.
Token cigarettes.
Token cigarettes.
That
are killing our people, and yet they look on there and they tell you this is best for you. Stop complaining, African man. Stop complaining. And this today we're in a multicultural society. You can say what you say. I don't like your rhetoric. This is what they tell us today. But today, no, you can't say to them, how can you be so, if you say you've changed your ways, how can you be better than your grandfathers? You've not changed the system. If better yet, you are worse than your father, because at least your fathers were honest. They told us completely that they didn't like us. I like a man like, that's why I like Trump. Not because of Trump, but I like Trump because he keeps it real. And he tells us that he don't like us. In his way, his own way. So as I'm here now, I'm for myself. I'm not looking for no government to put food on my plate. We've got to go out there and get our own food.
Like food,
establish our own communities.
Like run like food.
Our own
for
food.
You, by you, for us,
for
by
us.
You get me?
Our own economical struggles. I had an economical plan. But I'm not going to share it on here because, like I said, the enemy watches stuff like this too. Okay, so I'm, as a general, you wouldn't. I'm not saying I'm a general. I'm using it in that context. I'm not going to share it on here. But come to the lions. Come to the lion den.
Family unified.
And come and get more fruitful and more positive and get the ideas, because when it's in here, you don't need to share it with the enemy. Because the moment you start, because the enemy, he gives us football, he gives us basketball, he gives us boxing, he gives us tennis and everything. He said, go on, boys and girls. But I remember in Africa, when my family or my next door neighbors come to visit my father, you know what they used to say? My dad would say, all right, kids, go out there and go and play. So people like myself, I never leave. I stay behind the door. I don't even want to leave. You know why? Because I knew they were coming to talk about something. Why would you tell us to leave? if you're not going to talk about something that is so...
Yeah,
absolutely. So go and play football.
Yeah, distraction.
So go ahead and go and play football. So today what did they do? They give us football, they give us boxing. Just like little boys and girls. Go out so that we can plan.
Make you work so many hours.
Work so many hours.
Yourself while they're making obviously the big agendas to obviously rob your golds from the motherland, rob your diamonds with me from Sierra Leone. Do all these bad things, push Ebolas and all these mad things, and kill us off however means they can.
Well, speaking of Ebola, Ebola was a test, not to. I'll put all black people in as a context. We're Africans and we are Africans. It was a test to black people. Ebola was a test. I mean, can you imagine in the whole of Africa? They told us we couldn't quarantine our own sick people. Yet, these are leaders making trillions, sitting on golds and diamonds and oil and other precious resources. You couldn't even quarantine your own sick brothers and sisters. Yet you should be ashamed of yourself. They couldn't even quarantine. They had to, and please send help. We are waiting for the international community has let us down. International community has let you down. You couldn't even quarantine your own brother. Brother, I watched it on TV. A whole brother was poking his own brother with a stick just to make sure he was dead. If he was dead, the better. But if he moved, he ran away. He don't want to get contaminated by that. If you couldn't quarantine your own sick people, and they had to send HM ships, the ships from America, they are big vessels to go to Africa and park them at their shores and bring out their Superman to your rescue.
Yeah.
Batman to your rescue. Super Cat to your rescue. Thundercat to your rescue. Robin and the rest. Robin Hood and the rest of them to your rescue. Why do you think they keep putting up all those silly channels that don't make no significant progress in the human life? They're telling, subliminally, they're telling you that here we come. So all the cartoons that you saw and all the movies that you saw, this is the real event. Here we come with our ships. We're here to cure all your people. We're going to cure, we are your saviors. So you couldn't quarantine. We told you these Africans and these black people are nothing. They're sitting on gold, but they can't quarantine. Here we are. Without us, you're dead people. Without us, you cannot survive. So the Africans say, wow, all the kids in that generation, they have been, it's called bamboozled. You've been bamboozled because all that generation from that time, they've all seen it now. So that generation is, in their mind, they've been destroyed because now they have to believe in the white man. Then when I say white man, we're not saying
the only way they can obviously be cured by obviously getting these vaccines or etc.
Absolutely.
The help.
But now we have to look at the white man
and say no. The bushes are all there.
Absolutely.
They don't know.
But when we say the white man, we're not saying the white man in a negative way. If you took it as if we use the word white man, we're not using it as a negative way. We're using it to identify a people. Since we are the Africans, the black people, we must have, the opposition has to be a white man. So he came, and when he came, that generation, those kids who saw the ships landing at the port, the planes landing at the airport, the ships coming to the harbor, and all these scientists, all these specialists were coming out, they now have to look at them and they think, wow, in this crisis, these people ship came. In certain culture, they call it cargoing. Cargoing. And so the kids look at it and they think, wow, well, we need to worship them now. I mean, not literally bowing down, but mentally.
They're supreme.
They're supreme. So they now, after they've left, they look behind us and they say, why should I respect you, chief? So-called chief. Yeah. What can you do for me? There's nothing you can do for me because we prayed, they landed. And when they came with ships. Some of them landed, some of them came with ships, with heavy equipment. They are our lords. You ain't no more. We know, in fact, we pray you die. because you're useless to us. We're looking up to the white man to get us. He's our savior, not you. So then we here now look at it and we say, "Oi, really? If these people went in, because look, the moment they went to Africa, within a month there was a vaccine. Within a month there was a vaccine, and we rather, oh my goodness, we the black people, guess what we did? We actually put barbed wire. It reminded me of the Jewish people in the Nazi camp. We put barbed wires and called off the whole town. Basically, we weren't giving them water. Logistically, we weren't giving them water. We weren't giving them food. We just kept them right there in that quarantine, and they were stretching their hands out of the fence. The Africans, they didn't know who had it. But instead of quarantine, but here they don't mock and scorn. They are sick. In fact, they even call them brave. And so when someone has cancer here, they say you are a brave person. Keep living. They inspire the person to live, and the person goes through so many tests to save another life. But over there, we put a barbed wire, and police were standing there with bad guns and they were to get back. But that's not what we need. So back home, they are corrupted back home. And these leaders are taking the money, and they couldn't even buy common tents. They couldn't even, oh my God, they couldn't even clear out a field. They had to wait for Batman, Thundercat, Superman, and the rest, Supergirl. Let them all come in there and save them. So that generation of kids, what they saw at that time was him coming with the ships and saving them.
And then that's where it comes back from, even like, obviously we're coming from the Jamaican aspect, where they told us that our elders and that England was paved with gold. So a lot of the elders came to England with that mindset, saying that the England's a better place, a place of luxury, a place of gold pavements, where obviously you can obviously make something out of your life.
Brother, we're tricked.
Like you said,
we've been tricked.
So they do it to all of our black cultures.
Absolutely, they do it to all of this, because it's, as much as you want to see it, it's two races on this planet. And when we say race, yes, you might not think there is a race, or you want me to paint you a Hollywood picture. But the reality is there is two races on this planet. It's either you're black or you're white. Now you say Chinese are yellow. But they are closer to white.
But at the same time, so because they've got melanin in their skin, they're offsprings of black anyway. Because the white people don't really like them either.
They don't like them either. Because of probably their chinky look, their slanted eyes, and the rest of the list goes on. But we're not even going to go into it. We're just going to stick to our point and our people. If you look at the whole of the Caribbeans, what they've done over there in Caribbean, I was speaking to a few people in the Caribbean recently, and I mean, brother, the mindset some of the people have about the Africans, the so-called African, their own brothers, black brothers, you know, the mentality they had. I mean, I felt like, wow, we really fighting this big battle. Because
it's what we're shown, we perceived it to obviously have little kids with ribs showing, flies on them, you get me, like the way they perceive it. I've been Africa and it's a beautiful place.
I wish I had a map. I wish I had a map behind you with all the rivers flowing. If you look on the map, you would see all the rivers flowing within Africa. But brother, if you live in here and there's a stream flowing just behind this building, right? But you need water in the building. You see, you have to be prepared to logistically buy some pipes and do certain things to connect the water in here. But the fact is, it's not because there is no water. There is, but you need to manipulate it into your homes. The same thing with gas. If you look at gas is a deadly thing. But in Europe, they've managed to live in harmony with gas in their homes. How are they managed to do that? By manipulating gas to be a positive, to be a friendly person, and a source of energy in the house. But it's a deadly thing.
The control.
But they've controlled it and manipulated meaning. So if we have all these rivers in Africa and we're not connecting them, and instead of me saying, oh, well, I'm from Ghana, so that river belongs to the Ghanaians. Well, I'm from Nigeria. That river down there belongs to the Nigerians. That river down there, River Nile, the ones in the Jordan and the rest of them all belongs to the people in their respective countries. Wrong. You need to start, and Gaddafi started a similar example, and that is what I learned it from. Why? Because if you're able to connect these streams, it's never impossible. My God, I think it's impossible to change a human mind and to logistically move people from Africa into slaves, to make them believe they are slaves. I think it's nearly impossible. They said they couldn't, some years back, it was impossible to go to space.
Yeah.
Today, they're going to space. How can you say it's impossible to link all these rivers? And if you're a Christian, how can you say you believe in God and yet believe that the rivers are not enough to be distributed within the whole of Africa? Don't you think the Creator who put us there knew what He was doing? You just need to get up off your feet, shake your governments up, and get them to use this money to be connecting these rivers, and there'll be rivers flowing and water flowing each and every African house.
So there wouldn't have to be no.
There wouldn't have to be no drought or nothing.
Yeah. But to even elaborate and touch on something what you said there, because you're so right, my brother. Yeah. But then guess what? Every so often we will have something called Oxfam. This research.
Right.
You look on your TV, help donate £2, £3, £4, £5 to put wells in this part of Africa or that part of Africa. But guess what? The beast is still robbing the people from all directions anyway, because we've got so much billionaires and millionaires in the world. You with me? And not everybody's bad.
No.
Yeah? But at the same time, nobody's got the, like you said, when you was talking about wisdom and knowledge. If you've got wisdom and knowledge and you're using both of them, how come nobody's got the wisdom and knowledge to see that? Wait there, like what you just said, my brother. I've got millions, I've got billions. I can go and get these pipes and all these lakes and rivers and etc. from the mountains and create it. That's why I have to salute and respect our brother Akon for what he's doing to the electricity in Africa, because he's a successful black person.
They're not highlighting
and he's using. They're not highlighting it, but we are going to highlight our big brother.
Absolutely,
salute.
we have to
Salute to
so
Akon.
thank you very much, Akon. Keep doing what you're doing, my brother. Thank you very, very much.
Inspiring the brothers and the young brothers.
Thank you very, very, very much. At the end of this cycle,
we want more people to come out and do these things. You with me?
It's not a race. It is not about what, it's about what you did whilst you was on this planet. Whilst you was here.
We shouldn't have no suffering.
We shouldn't have it. We shouldn't have it. You have billions. You have millions. And then you look at the Africans and you say, well, look at the Africans. They have bones showing, they have collarbones. This is design. But I can go into, but you bring out our disadvantages, and you highlight it so big for the world to know how low down or how corrupt our governments are, or how much you've hurt us. Absolutely. And you make, but today I can go to Brixton, I can go to certain filthy parts of Manchester, certain filthy parts of Nottingham, certain filthy parts of Birmingham, certain filthy parts of all your major cities, and record it and go back to Africa and go and start something and show them that, look, the people you're looking up to, but I shouldn't do that. If you see a man and he's naked, you cover the person. You don't take picture of the person and then show up to people and say, oh, look at that man and he was naked, and everybody laughs by. But if you see me naked, you have to take even your shirt and cover me up and say, brother, you shouldn't be out here. Hold on, I'm going to run into the shop, get you some decent clothes and cover yourself.
Be our brothers and sisters.
Absolutely. But don't take a picture of me and then show up to the public, and that's what you're doing.
And somebody was doing that the other day, like you was on about fights and things, what was going on. Somebody in London, I don't know if it was in Brixton again, or somebody in London, there was two youths was fighting after school or whatever. And the friend was recording it, but our elder seen it, like our elder brother must have seen it, and he pulled them up. He said, look at this, As you lot are all fighting and making yourself look like idiots, as two brothers, look at your friends. They're not your friends. They're giggling and laughing and recording and putting you on YouTube and Worldstar and all them things over the madness to humiliate you and just make yourself look like, is that all black people are good for? You with me? So we tarnish and make ourselves look like idiots. We need to start promoting real things and the positive and great things that we can do. You get me?
And we have to, and just like he just said there, it is not, that's what the enemy does. He makes you think that by putting these things out there, it makes you relevant. It makes you feel like you're all, you know,
now you're
also a top man, and somebody gets to pay attention to you.
You're not wise.
And that's what it's doing to the kids. When you look at the way things our kids have been brought up, the kids are at home. Mothers are giving mobile phones to their kids. The kids are going to bed with the mobile phone. He's telling her, both 13-year-old, 14-year-old, telling her, take a snap of your private parts and send it to me. She does it. These are two kids who don't have the strength of power. So he looks at it. In a couple of days, he falls out with her in an argument. He shows it to friends. Remember, every child in society, before you're born, you have 100, I always say, you have 100% trust of the community. The community see you as a good person, an up and coming individual, a bright girl, a respectable girl, a respectable boy, a good boy. People always see you that way, perceive you. But you have a 100% rate. But what happens in society is from that 100% rate, you start dropping. You cannot, once you start dropping, it's hard to pick yourself back up. So once you start dropping, so guess what happens with the kids now? What happens is the girl will take the snap, send it to the boy. When they fall out, he will now show out to his friends and say,
show up.
Yeah, look at her. Look at how, this is what she sent out. Now that girl who has, that black child who has so much confidence in herself, towards society, how she perceives herself, now she's been brought to shame in society. Her confidence is knocked down straight away. If it was a boy, his confidence is dropped. So all of a sudden, we've gone from a boy who is so bright. For 6 months or a year in school, he has to be thinking about this madness. He thinks about this madness more than he thinks about his education, because he's been brought to shame. And likewise, the girl has been brought to shame. So instead of the child, so mothers have a big responsibility. I'm always saying, if we really want to go back to how things were in the olden days, and we want to go back, I'm not saying we should know everything, but there are certain pillars, the same morals, the same pillars and principle in life that when you stop playing with it, you destroy the very fabric of what society really is. Our foundation. So when you tell that little boy that he can take that mobile phone to bed, mother, what are you doing? When you tell that little girl, what do you think is going to happen? When he's out there ringing the cocaine man to come and sell him crack cocaine, and you know they're not stupid. These kids go to bed and they'll ring and they'll toss it through the window while you, mother, you are home. Whilst you're with your lover, these things are happening behind closed doors.
You need to know what's going on in your household.
And you think you're raising them.
Good kids. You think you got good kids.
Oh, by feeding, mother, if you think buying food from the likes of your supermarkets and buying them the best Nintendo games, and if you think that is nurturing, oh man, I'm telling you, your kids, after they get to saying age, they don't need Nintendo, it's not what they need anymore. Because naturally their brain want to know what is out there productively for them to go out to. So the hunters back in Africa, when they are hunting, this is what and you all better learn this and project it to your life. What they normally do out there in Africa with the hunters, they take the kids out when they have a son, They take the son out for hunting when it gets to a certain age. Now they upon spot him
to teach him how to become a man.
To teach them to be a man. So when they see the animal which they're going to take down or hunt for, the kids, being kids, they just go, Dad, here it is, and then they rush, and then the dad always goes, hey, calm down, child. Have patience. You're not the only hunter on this field. There are other hunters here as well. But he thought it meant human beings. But he's not. Animals. Yeah, but there are lions who is also preying on the animal. There are cheetahs who are also preying on that. There are hyenas who are also preying on that animal. So if you rush to go and get that animal, you remember you are the slowest when it comes to running. Because those animals run faster than a human. You rather become the bait. So you need to be patient. Scan your area, child, to see whether there are no other competition before you actually take down. And when you take down that prize, you have to be as quick as you can. The child learns this as he keep going with his father. So the day when his father is no more, has that mobility, he's a man. This is no child abuse where, this ain't no child labor. So in society now, the enemy has designed video games for us now. Play your Call of Duty. But you know that little James that you have, this little Mark that you have at home, he'll get to an age where nature will start calling. Nature is no more calling for video games. Nature is no more calling for Xboxes. Nature is no more calling for the next shoes and all of that. No. Nature is asking the man. Now, he's a man now. Nature is asking him, what is for dinner? What are we wearing? What are we driving? This is society. So now he looks at it and he thinks, well, my dad didn't arm me with that. My mom didn't arm me with that. What is the easiest route? Let's go and rob the next person. So the poor black boy just run out there and he goes out there and he robs people. In so doing, he succeed once, maybe. He succeed twice. The third one, fourth one, maybe he get caught. Now he's in the system. So now he's not elevated. From that point, he's going down. He has to be a strong character. Some people make it 360 degrees and they get back. They realize that's not the way. But then they start looking. So if the kids are getting, and we use this system as an escape route. Let's have a baby, let's get a house. That's the biggest trick the devil ever pulled on our black women in this country. Having babies for a house. When a house becomes a priority over your child, because that's what it is. They might not believe this, but when you thought first, well, let me get a house. Well, what is the bait to get that house? Well, let me have a baby. It don't matter what man. It could be a useless man, but the baby's here. Council, I need a house. They're knocking on councils, or council give them one of their filthy houses, and that becomes, yes, I call it filthy, because these are not houses.
Matches box.
Matches box. How can a man like me, look how big I am. If my son is to get to 18 years old, and I'm living, I'm a lion. I consider myself as a lion in the house. And I've taught my son, and my son is a big boy. Me and him will be sharing that. Can you imagine the confrontation, the friction? Because he's not supposed to be there. I can hear his very footsteps. I can hear him breathe. I can hear him cough. In fact, if I'm to get down with my missus or my wife, I don't want my son hearing this type of stuff. But my son lives in the house, so there's a problem. So then I have to force him out early. And when I force him out early for my self-gain, he's a little child. So when you send him, so here they said, he's 18. Who gave you the approval? In Africa, a boy sometimes is 24 years old before he moves out as far as. At 18, at 20 years old, you are now about to make your biggest mistakes in your life. Not 18 years old. From 10 years old all the way to 18, we can correct them. But when you make certain mistakes at 21, 24, 20 years old, my goodness, you need a savior. But at that age, from 11 all the way to 18 to 24, you're about to make your biggest mistake. So you need a father, a lion, to be in the house. In the army, they use a tactics, or even in the police force, they use a tactics. That tactics is when they're going into a house, one of your friends would, or one of your team member will get hold of your collar. It is not to embarrass you or anything. It is just there for you, the lead man, to believe that you got someone, you got back up. It gives you that confidence. It doesn't make you go in that room feeling lonely, like feeling like you're by yourself. They hold you to make you feel we got you. You have a strong man team behind you. So when they move in the building, they know what they're doing. You get confidence to do what you want to do because you know you got backup. That man is your father. Some mothers can do this, but it's best to do it with a mother and a father.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And when you have a mother and a father, because a mother's job is that mother who looks at. So if you look at people like Tupac, rest in peace. When you look at people like Tupac, they have a heart, like he always sings to his mother. Tupac, upon everything, upon how strong he is, he has a good heart of it. When he's ready, you can actually feel that mother side coming out of him. That's why mothers are there for. Mothers are there to teach a man how to love, how to be romantic. And black man, you have it all around you, but you need a mother to spark that. So when the father is out, but the father is to teach the son and say to the son, son, get up there and go and get this thing done. With a different type of voice. None of this punk stuff. With a different type of go and get that done. Go and get that done. Go and get that done. Send him to the shop. How much did I gave you £10. What's the change? Blah 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 blah. Go and put it, absolutely. Go and put that change down. Go and get that done. Go and wash the dishes. Go and get that done. That is nurturing. But here you are. Here a mother will cook in the kitchen. Onion will burn up her eye. Onion will spill on her skin. Cook and take the dish and walk upstairs and give it to his son. While his son is on Xbox and the son goes, put it on the table, ma. What, in Africa? Okay, well, your head will be that dinner.
Slap back of your head.
Because she ain't even bringing it to you. You the man, you're sitting now watching your mom. So as a man like me, I cook for myself. I don't cook rubbish. I cook real good food. So we don't cook none of this thing this enemy is cooking for us. Injecting all these things in this KFCs and this process, and then we wonder why we're dying. And we're riddled with cancer, we're riddled with madness and anti-depression. Depression is not for black man. Please, cast that away from us. Depression. Back home when a man said he's depressed, he get up and he puts on the music and he hear a few drums hidden and then he shake himself up. That's depression out the door. No. Depression is afraid to even get into that house. I never heard of that word. I never heard about depression until I got to this country. Depression.
Because obviously, the reason why we got depression is because by nature,
yes,
we are melanated people. So as black people and melanated people, we get the vibes of the sun. Right. The sun embraces and electrifies and lifts you. Lifts you up. So we've been in the UK and in these climates, under these weathers and conditions, you get me, what they manipulating and engineering and mashing us up with. These are, especially for our elders, it's mashing up our elders' bones. It's mashing up our, as young people, our bones, and obviously you get colds and all these. It mashes up your immune system. So when you're in Africa or in the Caribbean, to where we are sun children, we obviously naturally are getting fed by the obviously the vitamin D's of the sun. Absolutely. So you're not getting no depression because you're waking up to the sun. You're happy. You're joyful.
It's another type.
You're happy even if you haven't got. Like, remember, sometimes the same way you didn't know about Jamaica. Some people don't know about Mercedes-Benz car.
No.
So they're not worried about having a Mercedes. So they're happy just to be walking down the road and going and see that their friend or their family or even getting some barrels of water, doing their day-to-day traditional thing.
Absolutely.
With me. But then we get depressed in this country, in this climate, for things what we don't even need. The things what we do need is obviously the sun, the natural elements from the earth, i.e. you got the natural herbs, what can heal our bodies.
Absolutely.
You got obviously the fruits of obviously the land.
Absolutely.
But even now, even some Africans, if they're not obviously in tune to obviously their natural self or their surroundings or what their forefathers told them, then they, like you said, they're going to be obviously implemented and manipulated by the commonwealth or the system what's obviously being implemented in their country. So now, like you said, they're relying on medication from the Western world. They're relying on food from the Western world. But really, you lot have got the food. You lot have got the things what can heal them, because certain things didn't exist in Africa. Africa don't know about certain things when it comes to illnesses or certain things, because you can heal yourself.
It's a heavy point. It's a heavy point you've made, because all these medications that they've got in their cabinet, in their pharmacies and in their hospitals, guess where they go? They go to 2 countries, 2 continents actually, or maybe 3 continents to go and find this remedies. Now they go to Africa, they go to South America,
like Brazil and all
Brazil and the rest of the Amazon to go and get these leaves. But here in Africa, he's got all the leaves, but they go out there, pluck the leaves, bring it to their laboratory, whip them up, extract what they want from it, turn them into pills, send them back to them on high prices to purchase.
And people can't afford to buy them.
So what does that tell you about the people living there? I'm not talking about the people, because the people vote these leaders in power in order to govern their ways of life. But here is a leader. The Atlantic Ocean is there. They will go out there and fish. After fishing, they will then send the fish to Europe, only for Europeans to put oil on top of it, send them right back to them. It's called sardine. How is that possible? When you cut the oh my goodness, God really favored them. Since we've changed blessed to favor, God has really favored them so much that they don't even see it, that they are even in the Garden of Eden. When you go out there fishing and it's free, and over here, for me to go out there to go and fish in the rivers, I have to get a license from the post office. For me to go to the toilet as a human being, to ease myself, which I'm entitled to, I have to put 20p for me to sit on the toilet or to have to ease myself. I have to pay money for me to park a car. I have to pay money if I overstep by mistake, because sometimes, you know, we're not there at 100%. Early in the morning, after he's worked us out so many, and you wake up in the morning to go to work and you put your foot down a little bit. Here's a camera. Boom. There's a ticket coming through. Merry Christmas.
Reality.
Bedroom tax. Oh my God. How can you tax a man for living in his own home? Well, you say, oh, well, that room is spare. Well, hold on a minute. I've got family members too who would one day want to visit me. So basically, you're telling me I'm paying for this very room that, by the way, I'm already paid for in tax. Anyway. But I gotta pay bedroom tax. So you see, the only thing that water, electricity, gas, they tax us for everything. The only thing that they don't tax us is air. And thank God. But I can guarantee you, all people watching this, the moment they find out where the source of air comes up from, you'll be walking with a gas cylinder behind your back. And with a 20p, and you'll be slotting them in. Because if you lose it, your 20p, you're in trouble now.
But to add to that, you're right. Even though they haven't got us and taxing us on the air anyway, they're still polluting our atmosphere anyway.
Oh,
the chemtrails
well,
doing as well.
Now soon, that's what I mean. Soon you'll be wearing a gas tank, and they will say this is purified air.
Yeah.
This is purified air. The one out there, you know, we've already busted up. You don't want to get cancer.
But we already know you fucked up.
But we know you already messed up. You know, and he keeps selling us things that we don't really need. Now he's done us a little ventilation thing that sits in the corner of the room, and he says, oh, he purifies the air and the atmosphere you're in. Go and buy it, and then we you go and buy it. This is the game. But God put this up here. He don't need your help. It's so disrespectful to God. You know, when I see those people who go out there and they make comments about, oh, we want to heal the world. We want to help preserve this polar bear. These 2 polar bears that we have, we want to say, I better not see no 2 polar bear, because I've been wearing that polar bear as to warm myself, because gas prices is high. How the hell you go around the world killing all these animals? You go to Africa, kill a whole lion, which is our pride of Africa. A whole rhino, because God don't give you no animals. When He gives you animals, it identifies your character, your spirit. He don't give you punkified animals for punk reasons. He gives you strong animals because that's your nature. But when he gives you,
just like rats and pigs.
Absolutely. So when you get them kind of ones here, then you know what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
They give you all kinds of seal and they moving like all kinds of madness. And then you see their behavior. They're cold. They live in cold atmosphere. So why wouldn't you be cold down here? We have strong animals down here, but he don't like that. He will come up with his shotguns. Here come Babylon with his shotgun, with his scope. A whole lion of pride of black people. He will shoot it down and the lion drops. And then when there is 16 left, come on boys and girls, you Africans better stop killing these animals and selling them for cheap prices. But hold on, we live with these animals for thousands of years. Now he's blaming you. But here you are, you told them, get me that lion paws, get me that lion skin, get me the head so I can put in front of my house so that when my friends come to visit me, you know, Edward and James, and then when they come to visit me, I have been in Africa and I really, I mean, I really speak Swahili, I really do. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
But this is
but that's what I'm saying, like, when we used to do it, like, by obviously our tribal tradition, we did it in a controlled way. So obviously when we was hunting, we're not abusing nature.
No, we
in one with
we
nature.
wait till it dies. Yeah. We wait till that animal dies.
In one.
Because it's old, he dies, and when he dies, they skin the animal. But here you go, with his guns, and then he kill it all, and then he turn around and say, oh well, guess what? You're not supposed to be killed like we're kids. You Africans, stop killing the animal. Sessi the lion. This became is it Sessi? You name our cats, our lions, you name them Sessi. Look at that silly name. Sessi. Make it look like a sissy. Some soft thing. But no, his name is Mufasa. You hear me? Stop Simba. With this little, stop naming things. Stop naming our animal. Let us name it. They named Simba, Motombo. Those are the names that we gave them. Shaka. Do you hear that?
Shaka is
so those are the names that we give our animals. We name them. Some of the animals, when a cub is born in Africa and you are in a house and you spot it first, they take that animal, that lion's nature, and they name you. So when you're called Shaka, that lion is also called Shaka. So when you identify, because Shaka is not punk, spiritually, so it's not punk. So when you see that lion, you can drop your arms in the air and tell you today your name is James, but at night time you want to be called Cindy. You know what I mean? You know you're identifying that lion, and he's not pussyfooting around. So that you take on that role. So even in battle, you act on the enemy. You are fearless. That is chicken and chips. You're not afraid of it. But today, what is happening in Africa? We can't get it. What's happened to black people? They will come up there, kill it, and then they say, we want to help heal the world. You're disrespecting God in the first place to tell him as if he doesn't know how to look after. You see, the world can do better without you. The world we live in, it can do better without us.
Because we have to look at
nature don't need us. It's we who need nature.
We have to know that obviously when we look at ourselves, like you said, by nature, we are of love. So when you look at who's causing all this...
Sorry, I'm raising my voice.
No, bro, but I'm
fired up.
This is the kingdom spot.
Cuss right now.
You see, if you was a white brother, the white man have got the Westminster and got all them little pagan places. This is where we have our brother reasons. You with me? And express our true selves and obviously our ancestral way. You with me? Because we need our time to obviously tell the real thing and set the thing straight.
Absolutely.
You with me? So you're not apologizing to nobody. Those who are watching, they need to be embracing what I and I are saying. You with me? And if not, getting involved in what we're doing, and if not, looking into certain things themselves as an African, as a Jamaican, as somebody from the Caribbean, and us as English brothers as well, because
drop those titles. Drop those titles.
Drop them.
All these titles, drop them.
Drop them.
Names like Simpson, John, Mr. Woodbuck, Mr. Green, Mr. Brown, Mr. Seabass. Can you imagine naming a fish after a human being? Mr. Seabass.
Mr. Turnip.
I heard one recently. I couldn't even believe your name is that name is actually a human name. But this, if you look at the history, you probably know this more than I do. But if you look at these names are symbolizing their trade at that time.
Yeah,
so if it's Smith, it's a blacksmith.
Blacksmith, yeah.
So if it's his surname is Fisherman, his father used to be a fisherman.
Yeah.
Okay, if his name is Green, he did something that related to color green. So then it became his name. Mr. Walker. He probably walk every day in his life to get to places that he wants to get to. So this is his names. But let's look at what your names are. And those are some of the names that are mentioned. Simba, Motombo, Ngozi. These are names. You know, Shaka, Ateis, Okways. These are names that are so powerful and they are meaningful. And so when you look at the constellation, he said, wow, that star dropped today, you know. You was born on that day, that's your name. You see that oak tree over there? We're going to name him after you. Why the oak tree? The oak tree is so strong. And since some of them, they don't even name their children after about a week or two. Or the children are about 4 months old, because they want to look at the character of the child to identify to something. So if the child is so good and so peaceful and so loving, they will name him after something that is so peaceful within the so when every time it's a reminder to him, the child, even that this is my name, this is how I must act.
The big elephant.
Even the elephants, even that. But they go Sissy. And when they shot this Sissy the lion, back to that topic, when they shot Sissy the lion, they made a fuss about this.
Like they ate so many Africans and
like basically
human life.
And they want to go and worry this doctor. But you see, don't worry this doctor. No, let's look at why the doctor did. Was it legal to start with first? It was. So after they always do that. After they do it for so long and they realize it's running out, they would apologize and say, all right, we apologize, we'll stop doing it. But I'm saying that why do you always have to do things and wait to the last minute before you try correcting it? It's an insult to God. You don't need to be doing this, naming these animals, this thing, shooting them now and all that, and then saying that we should help you. Can you imagine the whole Gulf? You spill this oil in the Gulf, and then we gotta come on, boys and girls, let's hold hands and sing. We are the world, we are the children. You see, I don't want to hold hands like that. And sing we are the world as if that's going to heal the world. Your singing is done for. We don't want to sing, we don't want to hold hands. I don't want to hold hands with people that I don't know. Not in that sense. But I didn't help them destroy it. Coca-Cola, Elf, Shell, BP, spill millions of what? Why don't you go and call that director, that owner, to go and clean it up? Why are you out there with buckets and fetching in the middle of the ocean? You see how stupid we the people or we the citizens have become?
But we have to drink and all these polluted waters, all these
Brother,
things.
we have to drink it.
We get the backlash of everything what they do. Everything they mash up.
Absolutely.
It affects us.
It's because we care too much. This is the thing. I found out, brother, when I gave up hope, I found out that I lived better. You see, if you hope is what holds you from doing things that you're supposed. You see, if everybody gave up hope, if you gave up hope, Hope makes you think there is something on the other end. But I don't believe in hope.
But that's why when you said belief earlier on, I said it's about knowing.
Absolutely. I don't believe in hope. The reason why I don't believe in hope is because hope, right? See that door there? That door there. If that door is locked and you walked up to that door, and you know that door is locked, and you open and you walked up and you said, I hope is open, that means you don't know.
Yep.
But you must have faith. Faith is bigger than hope. So I use faith. Faith is, what is faith? Faith means things are short of already. I have my car parked out there. I bet you by the time I go out there, it's not a Ferrari. But if I said, oh, by the time I go, I hope it's a Ferrari, the Audi is changing to a Ferrari. I hope.
I hope it's changing.
I hope. That is hope. Black people hope so much. But we must stop hoping.
They hope to change.
Absolutely. We hope too much. We must have faith that it will change. Because the more you keep hoping, it's more like,
I know that it will have changed.
Absolutely. Because faith is things already approved of. So if I walk up to that door and I know it's open, I know that door is open. So I can tell you, man, walk to that door and get me something from there. Because I know it's already open. But if you was going in there and I said, oh, I hope that door is open, that means it could have been locked. That means I'm not sure of it. So if I'm not sure, why would I want to? So then I'm caught up in two minds. But you must have faith that is open. And then when you walk through there, it is there. If you go up there and you put your car key.
So it goes hand in the sense of have faith in what you know.
Have faith. Have faith in the sense that if you
then do more.
And do more.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Have faith, because faith will propel you to actually want it more.
Yeah.
Because you are sure that you're going to get it. But if you say you're hoping, then there's hope. What is hope? Hope is things that you are not sure of.
That means you're hopeless.
So when people pray and they said, God, I hope you listen to my prayers, then you might as well not pray. If I was a God, and I know God ain't a punk like that, so that's no wonder our prayers always stay here. You pray, it doesn't get up there, it just drops. The moment it look like it's flying, your prayer just drop because
you're not serious.
You're hoping.
Yeah. You're on some joke.
But you have a man that tells you that, I'm telling you, God is going to do it. God is going to bring black people out of this situation.
For sure.
Not hope. But I have faith that it's going to happen.
And we know.
He said even when I'm dead or alive, it will happen. Then God will listen to you. So you wonder why we're here and a lot of people are out there and things are not happening because we're hoping too much instead of focusing on this thing, on faith. We're hoping.
And staying blessed.
Absolutely.
Being less than we can be.
We cannot
need to be
go.
more than that. You get me? Dude, for real.
We cannot keep moving like this. We need to make a 360-degree turn. And it must start now.
Yeah.
It must start now. We cannot keep doing this. There has to be a point where we say enough is enough. But brother, listen to this now.
Yeah.
In this life we live in, everything that is so valuable in life, God don't just so you don't walk around the street and see diamonds lying on the floor and you say, oh, because then it will not be precious anymore because it's there. But anything that is so valuable, God put it in the very depth and core of this planet. That the one that desires it the most goes and work day and night.
Go to that.
They don't like to get that extra. When you extract it, he puts a value on it because of how he got it. So for us, black people, or any people of color around the world, for us to get what we want by peace or how to fight back, if we just think that we're gonna go through this battle without a casualty or not willing to take any casualties, then I'm afraid we shouldn't even start. You should be willing and ready to die for this because it's worth dying for. But if we are not
standing up for truth, man.
And so you have all these leaders, you have all these thousands of leaders in Africa over here. Yes, there are black people who have millions over here. But one of our people get killed today on the street. Tomorrow they say let's riot. No, either violent or non-violent. They say, let's riot, let's go and protest. You know what I say to them? I always say to them, let's go and protest for what? Brother, we've been protesting for over 80, 70 years now. With picket signs, protesting, and it's not getting us anywhere. For us to go and protest, listen, I'm working for the enemy. Now if I'm working for the enemy, am I telling the enemy that, listen, I'm leaving your job to go out there and go and protest for my people?
Yeah. And then
it's a ludicrous man. And he said, he will definitely tell you, yeah, you can go, but you know what? Don't coming back.
Yeah.
You know what? Go.
So then you got to choose. You're picking them.
Imagine if our people have jobs, and I'm working for my people in a factory, and I leave, and I say, boss, well, you heard, I didn't even have to tell him. You heard about the killing. Theo, where are you? Well, I'm protesting for that madness that happened yesterday. All right, brother, crack on. I'll see you. When are you back? I'll see you in 2 days' time, whenever we knock on this pagan door and he opens. Then we would guess what? Then come back to work. But then I have my job still there. But for me to leave his job, it doesn't make no sense.
But that's why we need to start investing in each other.
That's why I said economically.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. That's why in the beginning I said economically, we must mobilize ourselves. So you have the names, footballers, I'm not going to mention names, but if they upset us so much, then we have to mention the names.
For real.
But we're not, by the minute I'm fired up so much, I could mention names now, about I can give you 10.
But you know what? Yeah, we have to. Some man you have to put to like, but sometimes, like, how you do it is this. The same way I we saluted Akon, we shout out Akon.
Absolutely.
We salute man like Jumbo. We salute them man there.
Absolutely.
Them man build some hospitals and
they are not on the limelight. Because the enemy don't want them. Because the enemy don't want them to be in the limelight, and then they say, "Hey, look at this now.
We need more jobbers. We need more."
This Akon boy is inspiring black people to start moving like that. No, but the enemy owns the radio stations. He owns the TV. He owns all the advertisement. He owns the satellite that transmit to our countries. So do you think this enemy will get you to the very thing he's trying to protect? He's got us in his grip. Do you think he's going to send you a savior to get you off his grip? It doesn't make sense to him. So we must send our own. So somebody had your hands here now. In order for me to let go, I cannot send my own friend to get me off you. You need to send for your own people, your reinforcement to get my grip off you. It makes sense that way. So with the likes of Akon and what they're doing, this is what they're doing. But those people have special places in higher places, either here or above. So thank you very much and keep doing it. But the ones who have the thousands and the millions who are sat on it and eating it bit by bit, they're not doing nothing. Keep eating, because sooner or later
your belly's gonna explode.
Absolutely. We will find a stove in your belly.
Yeah.
They keep eating.
Greedy. When there's so many people.
They're so full to the extent that some of them, when you see them, some of them used to play football. Today when you see them, they're fat. I mean, they're so fat we could find stove in your belly. That's what I meant to say. And look at them now. They're not helping the society. They're not looking for the. But because you know what they're afraid of, brother, they're afraid that if the enemy find out, because the enemy gave him the money really. So if the enemy find out that he's sponsoring something like this, look here, boy, because that's when they call him boy. Look here, boy.
You need to bring him back down to his level, like
boy, come to the meeting. Daddy want to see you, because he calls him daddy, really.
Daddy, that's Lucifer's child.
So he calls him daddy now.
Our people are poor, and you know damn real nobody wants to be poor. This play is going to show how the pigs react when the people start to take community control over what belongs to them and liberate it back.